Hello and welcome back to part 2 of Reflection. Let's get into it. A new day arrives. Sari arrives at the club room earlier than usual, that is, not late. As she enters, it appears to be empty still, so she sits down at a desk and pulls out a sheet of paper, prompt to jot down her thoughts. Sari has made a habit of scribbling her thoughts and feelings onto paper whenever possible, as it tends to serve as her best inspiration for poetry. My heart feels vacant because the ship sailed away. Yo. Hey! It's Siski. Siski pokes her head from behind the closet door. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. But it would have been a lot more awkward if I didn't say anything. I doubt you want me to listen in on your poetry thing. Yeah. Thanks for realizing that. Should I let you finish that up then? Oh no, it wasn't. I mean, I just do it whenever it's convenient. You're not interrupting. Okay. Where's Monica, by the way? She's out in the hallway. Huh? Why? Well, just in case she runs into Yuri. Sometimes Yuri is too nervous to come into the club room by herself, so... Oh. Jeez, does Yuri really let things bother her for that long? She can't control her feelings. For some people, it's really hard to cope when you get a bad thought in your head. Maybe you can distract yourself for a while, but as soon as it's just you and your thoughts again, it comes back. Just want us to have a normal club meeting. It's a lot easier to pretend like it never happened if we all just ignore it and move on. I don't want to be bothered by this. It's so stupid, her opinion of me doesn't matter anyway. Besides, it makes me feel really guilty, and I hate that too. It's okay to have feelings. It doesn't make you weak. Let's figure this out together. Fine. Only because you're good at this stuff. Let's try to come up with a happy scene. Maybe that will help us understand where your bad feelings are coming from. Well, I was happy the way things were before we had that conversation yesterday. What our conversation made you upset? Was it Yuri being mean about the manga? Maybe. I doubt it though. Because my friends and other people make fun of manga all the time, but I just brush it off and ignore them. But something about it really got to me this time, and I hate that I'm letting that happen. Is it because it came from Yuri? No, why would that matter? I mean, well, maybe. Just hate that she thinks she's so much better than me, just because she likes to pretend to be all sophisticated. Yeah, that's what it is. At least other people decide that they don't like me, or manga or whatever. But Yuri acts like she's too good to even give it a chance. Sorry. Everyone deserves a chance. Yeah, exactly. Would you give Yuri's books a chance? After this? Absolutely not. What about before this? Well, I would until I got bored, which wouldn't take very long. But if you actually keep an open eye, then it's not hard to realize that a story can be deep and meaningful without being needlessly complicated. I see. But you know, I like Yuri's books. Yeah, but I like manga more, right? Siri shakes her head. I like them both. I like them in different ways, but I like them both. I mean, the manga, it's really honest fun, is easy to let's go with. And the fantasy has a lot to interpret and uncover. It's really rewarding to have some good quiet time together with it. But the most important thing is that both the manga and fantasy are true to themselves. So I love them both. And I think there's room for both of them to be in the same club together. I just feel like maybe they have more in common than you would think. How do you get along with everyone so well? I was getting into fights with people. Like first it was with Monica, when I was new to the club, and then it was you, and now it's Yuri. I was like, oh, that person's being such a jerk, and if they just realized it, then we could at least get along. But nobody else has this problem. I just keep running away from the reality that everyone's just a jerk to me because nobody likes me. And I don't know why, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what's wrong with me. I hate it. Natsuki. Sari puts a comforting hand on Natsuki's shoulder. You're a wonderful person. You deserve to be loved as much as everyone else. Everyone has different ways they like to communicate, you know? Sometimes it makes it harder for us to understand each other. I think that sometimes we get lucky and we make friends who are really good at the same kinds of commotion. It feels like you magically connect with them. But other times, even if both people are really nice, it's easier for them to misunderstand each other or to get the communication wrong. Something that Yuri struggles a lot with too. They'd be really hard. can be really hard. It takes a lot of, like, reflection and self-awareness. And vulnerability. I'm bad at that one. Vulnerability? I always have to be the strongest. What do you mean? Tell me about that part of you. Well, it sounds stupid, but I'm really used to people being mean to me. Like my friends, and I guess my dad. Like, when I don't get good grades, or even stupid things, like if my room isn't clean. So what am I gonna do? Cry about it? If I let myself get upset, then it's just letting them win. I'm better than that. Better than all of them. So things always have to be everyone else's fault. It was like if something goes wrong and there's even a tiny hint that it might be my fault, then just get really angry and I find ways to blame everything else instead. Do you see yourself as better than Yuri? If I said that, then I would just sound really full of myself. No. Our thoughts and our feelings are two different things. Even if we don't like our feelings, we have to understand them if we want to learn more about themselves. That's part of vulnerability, you know? Accepting that we have feelings that we don't like. I hate that. My feelings make me a bad person. Because my feelings just want to tell me that I'm so much better than her. And she's a judgmental know-it-all who's stuck in her edgy phase and that I'm just way above that garbage. But I'm terrible for feeling that way. You're not terrible. You are not your feelings. But you are not your feelings. Say that to yourself out loud. Fine. I am not my feelings. The way that I like to picture it is that those feelings are like your roommate. You live in the same house and you gotta see each other every day. If you can ignore each other most of the time, you're gonna run into each other every now and then. It's gonna make you feel like poop. So the other option is to get to know each other. Communicate and learn from each other. And maybe even help each other change for the better. Does that help you understand? How do you know so much about this stuff? I just have a roommate that can be really hard to get along with, called depression. Depression? But you're like the happiest person I know. I am not my feelings. I want to be a good person like you. Ah, you little sweetheart. We're all good people. You and Yuri and Monica. I think Yuri will eventually learn that about you. Natsuki remains silent, feeling a little overwhelmed. Despite Sayori's kind reassurance, a complicated mixture of pain and sadness seems to fill her, as though flowing from her wound inside her. Was it a result of her vulnerability? No, it wasn't as though she was afflicted, a wound after being vulnerable. It was as though she began to rediscover an old wound, one that cannot simply be bandaged and left alone any longer. Yuri, what are you doing all the way over here? I was looking for you. Please don't yell at me. I'm not gonna yell at you. I just want to say that I'm sorry about what happened yesterday. It was unfair for me to put everyone on the spot like that. Next time I won't try to jump in and solve everyone's problems. I guess it's a bad habit of mine. You're not mad at me? I thought you were the one mad at me. That was so awful yesterday. Yuri curls up recalling the details of the argument. Can't even have a normal conversation without saying something weird and making everyone upset. Hold on, that's not what happened at all. Let's talk about this, okay? Yuri pauses for a second, then manages a nod. Monica takes a seat next to her on the staircase. I'm having a lot of negative thought patterns and I can't get away from them. What kinds of negative thought patterns? Like everyone hates me, especially Natsuki. Oh, that's terrible. I think Natsuki hates you. How do you know? Well, because Monica thinks back to the time that she herself found herself in an altercation with Natsuki, and how a display of maturity from Monica was enough for Natsuki to evaluate her own feelings as well. I think Natsuki's just naturally defensive. I think she acts me when she feels the need to protect herself. But she's really not a bad person, in fact. I think she can really be thoughtful and considerate. She just, I guess the way it works is that she wants to receive some degree of kindness first before she feels comfortable returning it. Oh, but that means the burden is on me, and I don't know how to say things that make people like me. But I am open my mouth, Yuri shakes her head at herself and tugs on her hair. It's okay, Yuri. You don't need to beat yourself up. I think anyone would like you if they had the chance to get to know you. Well, unfortunately, the opposite is true. So I'm not talkative anymore in the first place. Because everyone used to think I was weird and talk about me behind my back. Just what happens when I draw attention to myself. Natsuki even said she found it more respectful when people speak their minds, so I did, and then she hated me anyway. That was enough to confirm my fears. But Sayori and I like you. We've gotten to know you a lot by now, right? Yuri doesn't seem to have a response. Hey, what do you think of Natsuki? I don't think about her. That's not what I meant, really. Just wondering if you had an opinion of her. I do. What is it? Natsuki seems to bring out the worst in me, and I feel really ashamed of it. I like to think of myself as a fairly sophisticated person. So for someone to just treat me like I'm inferior despite my tastes, it's just the worst kind of insult coming from someone like her. It makes me think bad things about her, but everyone else seems to like her, so the only explanation is that it's me who's doing something wrong again. My feelings about her are wrong, and I'm wrong to get upset over something so childish and inconsequential. No, Yuri. Feelings are never wrong. Well, they're not right. That's the thing. Feelings are never right or wrong, you know? They're just a state of being that we don't always have control over. It doesn't mean that we have to control us. I feel like that's something I learned around when I first started the club. We can hate ourselves for feeling a certain way about things. Or we can, just acknowledge that they exist and try to understand them better. I can never be mad at you for just feeling a certain way. It's about how you handle them. I think working through feelings is a great opportunity for teamwork. Yuri wears a dejected expression. You make it sound so easy. You're so mature. So good with people. I feel like such a child in comparison. Yuri, I'm far from perfect. But these are learned skills. They didn't come naturally to me either. It's really hard to reflect on yourself and separate your feelings from your thoughts. I just want to be a good person. Well, I think it takes a good person to get this far. It's not good enough. I want to be able to communicate it to her. Communicate what? How I feel. How it makes me feel frustrated and upset when she's so negative and dismissive of the things that mean so much to me. And how it reminds me of me. Because I know what it's like to feel misunderstood and angry at everyone. I know that telling yourself you're better than everyone else is just a defense mechanism. We're just people. We're fragile and unstable. But I'm just tired of that getting in the way. I can't stand when peace is disturbed like this. Yeah, you can't focus on your reading when the peace is disturbed, right? Because the literature club should be happy for everyone. Monica looks at Yuri in adoration. I feel like Sayori must be rubbing off at me, because I really want to hug you now. Sorry, I didn't make you feel uncomfortable. No, well, if you wanted to, then I wouldn't really mind, so. Monica pulls Yuri into a short embrace. So gentle. I love when you communicate your feelings. I feel like you get to see that side of you. I'm sure Natsuki will too. Aww. I'm gonna write her a letter. Oh, a letter? What a great idea. Just because I'm not good at talking, especially under pressure. I always let my feelings get the best of me, and I forget to say all the important things, and I say things I don't mean. I think a letter would be wonderful. Such a nice way to communicate. Yuri's face hardens with determination. People don't naturally gravitate towards me like you do. They do for you and Sayori. My personality just isn't suited for that. And I wouldn't want it to be. Something I've learned that friendships don't always just magically appear out of thin air. For instance, I never have seen myself making friends with someone like Sayori. We're opposite in a lot of ways. But I'm friends with her because she put so much effort into understanding me, so that we can get along. I think it was the same with you. Both gave me a lot of time and patience. And I wonder if she feels the same way. Suzuki? Yuri nods. I always thought that if I wanted to make more friends, I had to be someone that I'm not. If there's a type of person or a magical formula that I have to follow in order to make someone like me. That's just like me to think that. Always so occupied with myself that I fail to understand other people. Yuri shakes her head. Friendship happens when you think about the other person. When you offer time and effort to understand them. And respect them. And trust that. They also want to be a good person. That's what I learned through my observations in the literature club. Observations? Monica's caught by a surprise. Yuri's always kept to herself so much that it's so unusual to hear her suddenly talk about the club like this. But Yuri gently smiles to her. You always let me listen to your thoughts about people. Sayori too. And it makes me happy because I learn a lot of things. That's so sweet. I had no idea that it meant that much to you. Monica never thought much of it, but in the past weeks, Yuri always seemed to be especially attentive when it came to the problems and concerns of others. Always wanted to listen and learn more about her friends in the club. It's true, Sayori and Monica were naturally more comfortable with other people and could more easily work through situations of conflict. But that doesn't make them better people. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses, and the capacity to improve. And the first step towards improving oneself is reflection and self-awareness, something that Yuri never gave herself enough credit for, but that Monica can recognize as an incredible trait. With that, her confidence in the club is restored. A very shy girl with long, pretty hairs, wandering the bustling lunchtime hallways, her fist pressed into her collarbone. When she finds the liturgical president's classroom, she stands at the door, glancing all around her before peering inside. Monica's sitting and chatting with a group of unknown friends. As expected, this is a bad idea after all. Suddenly, Monica glances towards the door, making the girl panic and duck it out of sight. Before she can regain composure and decide for sure to leave, the classroom door gently opens. Yuri, I was surprised to see you during lunch. Yuri squeaks a response. Please help me. What, is everything okay? Yuri shakes her head. Don't know how to write letters. Thank goodness, I thought there was some kind of emergency. Monica briefly glances over her shoulder at her other friends. Do you want some help? We can go find an empty classroom or something. Is that okay? I feel bad taking you away from your friends. It's totally fine, I promise. We weren't really doing anything. One sec. Monica tracks back into her classroom. Says something like, I gotta go, to her friends, and grabs a pen off her desk before turning to Yuri. Okay, let's find somewhere quiet. Yuri nods and follows Monica as the two of them set off. How are you today? Huh? Me? Well, yes. Oh gosh, sorry, I was just caught off guard. Doing well today, just tired. Never seem to get enough sleep during the week. How come? I don't know, I think I'm just easily distracted. I get really sucked into things and start neglecting the time. Me too, I do that too. Hey, this classroom's empty. Let's go in here. After peering aside, Monica opens the classroom door, and the two of them enter. Yuri's moment of relaxation ends. She watches as Monica pulls two chairs up to the same desk, and obeys as Monica beckons her to take a seat. She stares down at the empty desk. You nervous? I don't want to do this. We don't have to. We can come up with something else. Yuri shakes her head. It's my chance to do something good. I need to take initiative. Gosh, you must be really determined. I know how hard it is to step out of your comfort zone. I'll be sure to encourage you. Yuri pushes through her anxiety and grabs a handful of lined paper from her notebook. Then she picks up her pen. Aw. Hey, you're left-handed? That's neat. Yeah. I don't have to worry about bumping your arm. Monica playfully rubs her shoulder against Yuri's. Sorry, I'm just being silly, I guess. Anyway, how about we start by listing different things you want to say to her? Yuri thinks. I feel embarrassed all of a sudden. Oh, that's okay. How about some things you said to me yesterday? But, never mind, I guess I'll try. Yuri thinks for a moment longer, her tension evident. Then she writes the word reflection. It's about my reflection on our behavior. The key question is why we act like this towards each other, but have been able to separately be friends with Sayori and Monica. That's me! Yes, it is. So, here he thinks. I've been able to befriend the two of you because you've taken the time to understand my needs and respect my interests. Same goes for Natsuki too. We started off as pretty hostile to each other because I was so worried about getting what I wanted. She just wanted to be respected more than anything else. Once I stopped making it all about me, she was able to do the same. I want to do that too. So what kinds of things do you want to do for her? I want to do the same things for her that I like to receive. I like it when people respond positively to the things I talk about and not just brush me off. I like it when my feelings are taken seriously. And I like when you and Sayori trust that I want to be a good person, even if I'm not doing a good job at it. Let's write those things down. Okay. You write some things down. I think the most important thing to remember here is that Natsuki is feeling vulnerable, so we should make sure that the letters put her first. It's hard when you're feeling hurt, but it never helps to just tell someone all the things that they're doing wrong. I think first you have to make sure that they know you're ready to respect them and listen to them, and admit the things that you feel you could do better. Finally, you can ask what you want in return. How does that sound for the structure? It could be 3 paragraphs, 1 for each of these points. I like that. My thoughts were so disorganized, I had no idea how to come up with any kind of structure. Oh hey, look, they actually have stuff down. Oh, stop. You've done so much more than I have, you know? Spend so much time reflecting and being open-minded. That's the hardest thing for anyone to do. All I'm doing is helping you put it on a piece of paper. So I think you're the amazing one. Mike gives Yuri's hand a quick squeeze, but as she lets go, she's caught by surprise when Yuri curls her fingers to hook Monika's hand in place. For a while they sat like that in silence, save for the occasional scratching of Yuri's pen against the paper. Yesterday you told me something that I'm thinking about a lot. What was that? Think about how feelings aren't right or wrong and they're just a state of being we need to come to terms with. It made me think about how a person's behavior isn't always just how they decide to be. It's also made up of their past experiences and their insecurities. I think that helps me see other people as actual people, rather than as insignificant side characters who are out to get me somehow. Is that how you feel about Natsuki? Yuri nods. But in reality, everyone is always trying their best, and everyone wants to be happy. Monika peers over at Yuri's paper, but to her surprise, Yuri pulls it in closer, partially covering with her arm. I've been able to read it to help out, you know? It's okay. My thoughts are a lot more organized now after being able to talk to you about it. Now that I'm actually putting it on paper, I realize I really prefer others not to read it. Yuri laughs softly to herself, a rare expression. I'm glad to hear that, actually. Somehow keep finding ways to put into this whole thing. I've done enough damage. It's also been wonderful talking about this. I mean, I always thought you were really smart, but Yuri smiles. I always be terrible at these things, but you were just so incomprehensible to me. I never get the hang of being one. But listening to you so much has really helped me make sense of some things. So just don't call it damage, please. That gives you a gentle smile. Aw. Can't believe I came to this club looking for fantasy geeks, and all I got was real friends who value me. Is that a joke? Of course it is. So can't tell it to you. Sorry. No, I love it. Please never change. As you wish. Aww. Yuri glances at the clock. We're almost out of time. Will you be able to finish? Before the end date, probably. But I don't want to come to the club the same day that Natsuki reads it. I'm too shy. Give it to her instead if you like. Yuri nods. As long as you promise not to read it. Of course, I promise. Thank you. Yuri exhales and the two stand up. I'll miss you when it's ready. Monika nods. Good luck. I'm here if you need me. Yuri turns a nod and two depart. Aw. That's really sweet. I hope you guys enjoyed. See you all for self-love. After self-love, there's one more. And then we're completed with the side stories. And then after that, I'm going to be doing something about like all the music, all the pictures, going through the files and the mail. Just like finding secrets and all that. Because it's just nice going through all that and actually having something to do. Like that's something that makes me happy about doing this game, because it's just one of those games that I did back in the past, and it's completely brand new, and I've never seen anything about these side stories. So it makes me happy doing this. So hope you guys enjoyed. See you all next time.